Shalom. We'll get started in just a few moments. Mic check. Here we go. All right. Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto my power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Hakwadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father. His true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh. In his son's name, who the word in the call Jesus Christ, real name in the Hebrew is Yahushua. Also give her praises, honor, and glory to the Hakwadash, the Holy Spirit, which is the force and entity that makes his edification possible. I want to say shalom to all you sincere hearted Aki and Wa'akwat, that's you brothers and few sincere sisters make your bodies a living sacrifice on a daily basis in this wicked and adulterous generation. I also want to give double honors to my beloved apostle, who was a great millstone, who taught me this truth and who ruled well. And I'm the brother Azamuwath here from the Great Millstone Dallas Camp. All right, coming back again for the third time. Okay. Satan been trying to hinder me, man. This is the third time I've tried to do this lesson. And so Lord's will, this one would, be good. No technical difficulties, but nonetheless, Lord's will, this will be edifying to the Lord's elect and glorifying it to the names of my power, Yahweh by Shemal Shah. All right. And what I was trying to get into is the topic at hand. As you can read the title, it says Putin says retaliation is a must. And this comes from all right, the conversation, Donald Trump and Putin had over the phone today. I believe it was today. And basically, Donald Trump has been trying to come to some type of, ceasefire agreement, for Ukraine and Russia, to figure something out. He gave them a deadline about a week ago, and he says, we should know something by the second week on how Russia stands. But here it is as of today. Putin, said, man, listen, no, we got to retaliate from what Ukraine, just did to us this past weekend. And Ukraine, while they were while Zelensky was holding a diplomatic, talk with Putin this past weekend, Ukraine had sent some drone attacks upon oil refineries and even particular critical infrastructure within the heartland of Moscow. And so that's pretty much got the nest stirred even more. And ultimately, what's going to come from this is a full-fledged World War III. All right, things are about to get nuclear, man. All right, every day now, that word nuclear, all right, nuclear bombs, nuclear missiles is being just thrown out there. You know, that's become the common talk right now. And this is exactly what our Lord Yahweh Shah told us would be one of the signs concerning the end of Esau's world, the end of this man's age. All right, the end of his rulership. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 7. It says, this was red letter. It says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. That's right. You see, and all these things. As a matter of fact, let me skip up here to verse 6. Like I meant to read verse 6. It says, and you shall hear wars and rumors of wars. You see, and even if this is just all a rumor, which we believe is not, because ultimately this is really a proxy war. And a proxy war, as a matter of fact, let's grab that word proxy real quick. Yep, the authority to represent someone else, especially in voting. Let's see, envoy, frontman, factor, go between, agent, substitute. All right, so basically, it's like a Trojan horse. They give you this particular skirmish, this particular lesser war, if you will, to usher in all right the key players, which is ultimately going to be all right Russia, all right America, Babylon the Great, and China. See. And of course, there's other key nations that's spoken of in Ezekiel 38th chapter. that's going to be underneath the guard of Russia, underneath the guard of Gog and Magog. But this is Matthew 24 again in verse 6. And you shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, right? Because a lot of people, well, man, they've been saying that this was going to happen, that was going to happen. Well, even with that, okay, the rumors in and of themselves are prophecy, man. So you ought not for 1 second get disenchanted because nothing major has happened yet. Okay, rumors have to come. That's a part of prophecy. As a matter of fact, let me grab this in Jeremiah. Let's see. I believe it's 51. Yep, Jeremiah 51 and 46. It says, let's start at verse 45. My people, go ye out of the midst of her. And this is talking about Babylon the Great. And how do we leave this place? In our mindset, in our spirits. Okay, because scriptures clearly says that we're going to be delivered from the west. That's the book of Zephaniah, the 8th chapter. Micah 4 and 10 says that we shall go even to Babylon, and there shall we be delivered. All right, so when it's speaking about all right, the Lord's people fleeing out of the midst of her is talking about the mindset and the mental. Don't be conformed to the patterns and customs of this world, as it says in Romans 12 and 2. Because you got a lot of simple-minded jakes. They'll take this verse literally, okay, without understanding the spirit of things, such as the likes of Ron Dalton, that bug out. And you see. But anyway, it says, my people, go ye out of the midst of her and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Lord. That's right. Because if your mind, if your heart, if your emotions, okay, your dreams and aspirations are attached to this place, all right, will you be cut off in the midst of Babylon the Great's plagues, man? Verse 46, unless your heart faint and you fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land. A rumor shall both come 1 year, and after that, in another year shall come a rumor, and violence in the land, ruler against ruler. That's right, man. So, all right, prophecy tells us that we're going to hear rumor. We're going to hear a rumor this year. We're going to hear a rumor next year. Okay, but eventually, these rumors are going to turn into the full-fledged thing, man. Look at the type of missile technology that all these nations possess now. All these nations, they're taking their sides. Okay, you got the key players. They're clicked up with each other, just as prophecy says they will be. Everybody's in line. Everybody's ready. You see. So let's go back here to Matthew 24 and 6, and I want to get into this article concerning, all right, Putin saying what he said. Retaliation is a must. All right, and you Israelites, y'all the only one that's out here playing games, man. These nations, they know what time it is, and they ready. They're gearing up, and they're preparing their people. Everybody's ready except you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. Why? Because you don't take heed unto the prophets that Yahweh Shai has given you. All right, and that's always been your downfall. All right, but only the elect, only the remnant is going to take heed into the mouthpiece of the Lord, which is the prophets. All right, and they're going to prepare themselves, man. Prepare themselves for battle in the spirit, arming themselves with their faith. Matthew 24 and 6, and you shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled. Right. Don't be troubled. Because at the end of the day, we understand that this is the working of Yahweh Bashmal Shai. And he's doing this for the controversy of Zion. He's doing this for our sakes, man. So he could free us out of captivity. All right, man, we ready to get the hell up out of here. But in order for that to occur, all right, the evil that's been sown has to be unsown, and it's going to be unsown by violence. Hence, Revelation the 18th chapter says, "For with great violence shall Babylon the Great be thrown down." See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Why? Because there's still a particular succession of prophecies that have to occur, mainly and especially the MOTB, the implementation, all right, of the MOTB, which we also see, all right, that can happen any day right now. you know, Everything's ready, man. Hey, Esau's got these sea hips stacked up in these factories somewhere, man, already ready to go. You see what the reason why things haven't really hit the fan yet, all right, is because of Revelation 7 from the top. All right, the Lord is sealing his elect. And once the elect is sealed, that's when the Lord is going to commission the angels to let go of those winds, all right, and just bring utter destruction and chaos upon this earth. Verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Right, man. And we've been seeing a lot of earthquakes, all right, all throughout the earth. But it's just the earth, all right, in those labor pains. All right, and the Lord is giving us signs and clues and tokens concerning, All right, how close we are to this coming. But let me go ahead and get this article real quick. This is CNN.com. It says Trump says Putin told him in phone call he will respond to Ukraine's weekend drone attacks. All right, this is published today. All right, June 4th. It's June. It's June. And there are microchips, man. All right, don't let these false prophets fool you out here, man. Okay, these C hips are ready. All right, and you false prophets, along with your congregation, all right, that refuse to leave the tents of these wicked men, they're gonna get C hipped up, just like they got dragon juiced up in 2020. All right, you false prophets got a lot of blood in your hands, man. But nonetheless, this was published, all right, today in June. All right, June 4th, Wednesday, 2025. All right, so it says Russian President Vladimir Putin told President Donald Trump in a phone call Wednesday that he was obligated to respond to Ukraine's weekend drone attack. See, he's obligated. Why is he obligated? Because the spirit of Yahweh by Shemal Shai, okay, is pressing this man. Man, the Lord is working. He's doing a great work. He's doing a great work upon the minds of these kings. Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turned to whatsoever he will, because it's not the Lord saying Ezekiel 38. All right, he's going to put hook. He's going to put hooks in the mouth of Gog and Magog. Meaning what? He's going to turn all right Russia back into that old Soviet Union, that USSR spirit, man. So that's why Vladimir Putin told Trump today he's obligated to respond to Ukraine's weekend drone attack, man. So things are about to get hot out here, man. It's about to get nuclear. All right, very soon. It says Trump said setting up a potential escalation in the conflict, just as the U.S. president hopes to broker an end to the war. So Trump, all right, he's been wanting to bring an end to this. All right, but when you read the book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter, it speaks about all right how the meek shall not regard silver nor gold. They don't care about these particular sanctions and economic setbacks that America and these other nations try to throw towards Gog and Magog. They got one mission on their mind and one mission only, and that's ultimately to destroy America. You see, and that's what this proxy war is leading to. Says the leaders' conversations. So, like, the leaders' conversation was their second time speaking in a matter of weeks. Trump, who announced the call afterward in a post on True Social, right, which is a particular social media platform, says made no mention of applying pressure on the Russian leader to agree to a ceasefire or to calibrate his reprisal for Ukraine's audacious drone attack on Russian airfields over the weekend. Because he know that Putin, he really about that life, man. And Putin crazy, bro. Putin crazy. Hey, Trump met his match, and scriptures speak about in Jeremiah the 50th chapter. For the king of heart, for the king of Babylon, his heart trembleth. Let me see if I can find that real quick. All right. Yeah, Trump met his match, man. Now, don't get it twisted. America is definitely, man. It's the top army still. It's the top military in the world that the earth has ever seen. But at the end of the day, all right, people know that there's a shift in power going on. All right, and Yahweh Bashmal Shah, he's mustering over the host of the battle, as it says in Isaiah the 13th chapter. This is Jeremiah 50 and verse 43. The king of Babylon, all right, which that would be okay, Trump right now. All right, that fierce king, as Isaiah the 19th chapter speaks about. But it says, the king of Babylon hath heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pains as of a woman in travail. So don't get it twisted, man. All right, all this, self-projected pride and pomp, all right, that Trump and these particular far righters try to display, having, like, at the end of the day, man, they don't want to see their sweet little America go bye-bye, you know? And they know it's just a matter of time till it will. Why else do you think they're building all these bunkers out of America? You see, because these bunkers that these elites and these presidents and people of such caliber and class, they're not building these bunkers in America. They're building them in other parts of the earth because they know America's going to get hit, man. It's just a matter of time. That's what this proxy war is leading to. So let me continue to read this article. It says We discussed the attack on Russia's docked airplanes by Ukraine and also various other attacks that have been taking place by both sides. Trump wrote in a post on True Social. It was a good conversation, but not a conversation that will lead to immediate peace. See that? But yet the only people that's out here looking for peace are you simple ass Israelites, man. Crying peace, peace. Let me grab that real quick. So I believe it's Jeremiah 6. Bear with me. Yeah, I wanted to do this on my computer. I tried 2 times, but Satan hindered me, so I got to do it on my phone. So yeah, it's got its setbacks, but nonetheless, let me find this real quick. I want to say this Jeremiah 6, man. Crying peace, peace. That's what you Israelites are doing, man. Well, ain't no peace coming. There ain't no peace to the wicked. All right, this is yep, Jeremiah 6 and 14. Let me see what it says in the NLT. All right, Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 14. I'm first getting the KJV. It says, starting right here, verse 13. It says, for from the least of them, even to the greatest of them, everyone is given to covetousness. That's right, man. So from your leaders all the way down to the common, everyday layman, all right, of the nation of Israel. Every one of them is given into covetous, man. You see? And from the prophet even unto the priest, everyone dealeth falsely. They have healed also the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, meaning barely, meaning your leaders are not doing a damn thing for you. They're not preparing your mind for the battle. They're not preparing you for what prophecy says is going to occur. They're not preparing you, all right, for Jacob's trouble. They're not preparing you for World War III. They're not preparing you for the implementation of the MOTB, for the hour of temptation. So the Lord says, they have healed also the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, right? Because we've been hurt. We've been destitute as a nation, man. We've been stripped and robbed of, not just information, but the truth in general. You see, that's how you're supposed to heal your people, man. It's by this truth. It says they have healed also the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, saying peace, peace, when there is no peace. See, you got Esau himself telling you that there's no peace coming, man. At least not no immediate peace. Which at the end of the day, there will be no peace for the wicked. Isaiah 49 and 22. There is no peace for the wicked, man. Trump himself is telling you that. You see? So why are you simple ass Jakes, man, trying to build here in America? Okay, let me get this in NLT. They offer superficial treatments for my people's mortal wound. Yeah, all these gimmicks. Okay, 1,000-man march and in the purple bandits. Okay, out there in the middle of the street just marching. What is that doing? You know, pepper spraying each other to death. ICPK, like all these gimmicks, man. Why? Because they know that they're lacking in their doctrine. So they got to supplement it, all right, with froth, with vanity, with bullshit at the end of the day. See, they offer superficial treatments for my people's mortal wound. Mortal wound. That's like you putting a band-aid on a double barrel shotgun. You know, a shotgun. You know, wound, man. I'm trying to put a damn band-aid on that. You see, mortal wound. It says they give assurances of peace when there is no peace. Right, man. There is no peace coming. Let's get another one. Then we're gonna go back to that article, Ezekiel 7. Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 5. It says, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashemal Shah, and evil and only evil, behold, is come. See? That's all that's coming here, man. And that's gotta occur. As we stated earlier, as we quoted earlier in Second Ezra, the 4th chapter, how can that which is good come except that which is evil be unsown? So this place gotta be unsown. It says, an end is come, the end is come, it watcheth for thee, behold, it is come. So let's go back to this article real quick. All right. President Putin did say, and very strongly, that he will have to respond to the recent attack on the airfields he went on. See, so he's got to respond. That's what he said. So any day now, it could be tomorrow, it could be this weekend, it could be next week, whenever. All right, things are going to escalate, man. You know, it's wars and rumors of wars, man. We're just in the time of war. Ecclesiastes, the third chapter. You know, and it's going to change. You know, life as you know it globally. You know, economically. You know, when it comes down to to the trade and commerce, food, everything, man. Because it's going to get to a point to where they're going to start to attack NATO. They're going to they're going to start to set up war fronts adjacent to the NATO countries, man, to NATO provinces. And that's going to escalate things even farther, you know. So yeah, man, things are we're here. Let me read a little bit more here. So it says President Putin did say, and very strongly, that he would have to respond to the recent attack on the airfields he went on. Trump's matter of fact description of the call offered little evidence of advancement in his attempts to end the war. The president said last week he would be able to determine within 2 weeks whether Putin was serious about negotiating a ceasefire, but has said little about how he would make that assessment. Meanwhile, there's been increasing pressure on Trump to levy additional sanctions against Russia, which he has so far resisted. Yeah, because once again, he knows that at the end of the day, Putin don't really give a damn. And Putin crazy. All right. Russian and Ukrainian officials met earlier this week in Istanbul, all right, Istanbul for direct talks on ending the war, but both sides emerged without budging from their positions. Why? Why is that? That's because the Lord is working upon the king's hearts, man. We're not in the time to. There ain't gonna be no diplomatic talks. You can't diplomatically talk your way out of World War III. Hell no, man. We at the point of return already. We at the point of no return already, man. It says Trump has taken credit for bringing the two sides together for face-to-face discussions. It says the Kremlin aide Yuri Yushkevos said Putin briefed Trump on the latest round of talks on Wednesday. As was emphasized, Ukraine tried to disrupt these negotiations by carrying out, on the direct orders of the Kiev regime, targeted attacks on purely civilian targets on the peaceful population. Yukashev said without specifying the attacks. The leaders agreed to continue further contacts on the Ukrainian issue, including at the highest level and at other levels and through other channels. All right. Um, says new footage released Wednesday showed in stunning detail the surgical precision with which the Ukrainians struck their targets, damaging or destroying military aircraft. And one of the main questions that they're trying to, one of the main things that Russia is concerned about is where and who equipped Ukraine with these drones, which they already know. Okay, NATO and America and Turkey, and even Israel. There's been talks of even Israel, man. So at the end of the day, Putin ain't trying to hear it. So that's why he says, listen, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm obligated. I gotta respond because none of y'all to be trusted. See, and he knows that the West is behind this ultimately, man. And that's the whole meaning of a proxy war. Basically, this is like a Trojan horse to usher in something else. You know, ultimately the big dogs coming out and fighting, man. So it says, let's see, that's pretty much the point. Like I said, I was reading here off of the CNN, post, and the title of it was Trump says Putin told him in phone call he will respond to Ukraine's weekend drone attacks. So you can read the rest, if you're interested, if you want to, read the whole thing. I just wanted to get the key points off of it, man. So, but that's pretty much the point. It ain't no peace coming this way, man. Things are escalating more and more day by day. Things are getting hotter. All right, the MOTB is getting closer. All right. So we just measuring the time diligently within itself as we've been commanded to. All right. And we want to be found watching. Okay. When Yahweh Shah comes back, man, we want to be found being occupied, watching. Okay. On our post, man, staying up. There's a lot of Jacob falling asleep, man, getting disenchanted. Okay. Got their head up their woman's asses, you know. Satan got them discouraged and depressed, so they dropped the plow, and nah, man, we gotta stay occupied, stay busy in the work of Yahweh by Shemal Shah, man, because the Lord is moving. All right, no doubt about that. But yeah, that's the point. That's the point. And Shalom to you, Akim and Aquap that tuned in. All right, again. All right, Salakia for the past two live streams, man. It's I had some technical difficulties, but nonetheless, still got it out there. So the water Yahweh by Shemal Shah for that. All right, but until next time, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to my power, Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushua, Ba'ashim, Hakudash. I want to give double honor to my beloved apostle, Oza Great Millstone, Mu'afla Babal, Shalom.